Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urios Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we're going to talk about our second 4th level spell, Aura of Life. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. All right, we are giving Aura of Life a B. It is a very good spell, but it is very situational, and it is also not usable by a lot of classes. So that is kind of the two reasons that I am giving it a B and not giving it something higher. So it is a 4th level spell that is only usable by paladins, Twilight Domain clerics, so not all clerics, just the Twilight Domain clerics, Circle of Wildlife druids, not all druids, but Circle of Wildlife druids, and the Undying warlocks. Not all warlocks, only the Undying warlocks. So these specific subclasses only get them on like their expanded list of spells that they know. So it takes one action to cast. It has a range of an area of 30 feet is only a verbal component, which is really good. So you can cast this pretty much at a moment's notice if you can speak a word. It lasts for 10 minutes, requires concentration. Yes, you do want to concentrate on this spell as long as possible. It's kind of a panic button bug out spell. And so what happens is you create this life-preserving radiation around you within 30 feet. Until the spell ends, this aura moves with you and is centered on you. So each non-hostile creature, including you, in the aura has resistance to necrotic damage, and its hit point maximum cannot be reduced. So those are two very important things. So let's unpackage that a little bit. A lot of undead do necrotic damage, particularly those undead that also, when they hit you, have like this life drain ability that reduces your maximum hit points. Things like wights and specters, things like that, wraiths. So, and I believe vampires also have this too. So those kinds of creatures, a lot of undead do necrotic damage. So you want to have this spell in your back pocket in case you do come up against creatures like this. And that way your tanks, when they get hit and they're up front, they're not going to reduce their hit point maximum down a bunch. And they're going to take half damage. Really good spell to flip out onto a raging barbarian who isn't a bear barbarian, because it gives them resistance to necrotic damage in addition to the other bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage that they would take. And they can't have their hit point maximum reduced. In addition, any non-hostile creature that's living regains 1 hit point when it starts its turn in the aura, with 0 hit points. So when it is dying, it gets a hit point. Now, that's really important when you're going up against something that is super hard. It's a big challenge rating. It might knock a bunch of creatures down. Also, undead. I know a lot of DMs have a play style that they use with undead, that undead will go after certain undead, like ghouls and gas, and I do this as well. We'll go after downed players and eat them. And if a downed player, a dying player, gets hit while they're down, it's a crit, and that makes them fail 2 death saving throws immediately. So this one is really important because it gives you a hit point. So you're stable, it gives you a hit point, and those 3 saving throws that you normally would have to make while you're dying, they kind of start over. So you can keep people alive for a very long time. Now let's talk about the difference between this spell and Aura of Vitality. Now Aura of Vitality is a 3rd level spell, and it is usable by paladins, Twilight Domain clerics, Oath of the Crown paladins, and Battlesmith artificers. So Battlesmith artificers can't use Aura of Life, but all the rest of them can. Twilight Domain and Paladin, there's a few new ones that can. So these 2 spells are really kind of important for Twilight Domain clerics and for paladins. Now let's look at one of the biggest differences between this spell and Aura of Life is Aura of Life doesn't heal automatically every single turn. Aura of Life allows you to use a bonus action to cause one creature to regain 2d6 hit points for a minute. This one lasts for 10 minutes and gives resistance to necrotic and the hit point maximum can't reduce it, and then 1 hit point. So this is more of a panic button than Aura of Vitality. Aura of Vitality still is kind of a panic button, but I have seen Aura of Vitality used outside of combat to shore up some hit points and to provide some extra healing. Now, Beacon of Hope, a different spell, which is usable by a bunch of different subclasses that are different than Aura of Vitality and Aura of Life. So, except this is Oath of Devotion Paladins can use Beacon of Hope, and Paladins can use Aura of Life, and I believe they can also use Aura of Vitality. Yes, so those are all Paladin spells. So, and then this one, for the duration, each target it has advantage of Wisdom saving throws and regains a maximum number of hit points possible from any healing. Now, this is a cleric spell, and if there happens to be a Paladin in the party, then Aura of Vitality becomes very important. For a cleric could cast Beacon of Hope, and you could put Aura of Vitality. Now, Aura of Life is just a hit point when you go down to 0, so that really doesn't affect it. Now, let's look at the different classes that can use this, and we have seen that Paladins and Oath of Crown Paladins. So let's look at. I'm going to look at Oath of Glory first. Now, the reason I'm looking at Oath of Glory, and they have. It's a Paladin spell, so it's not on their list up here of Oath of Glory spells, but it is a Paladin spell that they can take. And the reason I'm looking at this is because of Inspiring Smite. You can use your Channel of Divinity as bonus action and distribute temporary hit points to creatures within 30 feet of you. The total number of temporary hit points is 2d8 plus your class level, divided amongst creatures you choose however you like. So there is that. And then Oath of Crown Paladins get it. Here it is right here. They get it as at 9th level as one of their spells. And as a bonus action, you can bolster injured creatures with the Channel of Divinity. Each creature of your choice that can hear you within 30 feet regains hit points equal to 1d6 plus your Charisma modifier. So with Oath of Aura of Life, a dying creature goes to 1 hit point, and then on your turn as a Paladin, you can turn the tide and give them even more hit points as a bonus action, and then you could do another healing spell, something like that. For clerics, it's the Twilight Domain clerics. So the Twilight Domain clerics have they have this thing called Twilight Sanctuary, which does complement Aura of Life, and Aura of Life is on their list right there. They get it at 5th level. So Twilight Sanctuary, you can use your Channel Divinity, and when you do that, you grant temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus your cleric level. So that actually adds up to be quite a bit. And this sphere moves you. It lasts for 1 minute. Whenever a creature ends its turn in the space, you grant the creature one of these benefits. So with Aura of Life, if it's dying, it gets a hit point, and then at the end of its turn, it gets temporary hit points. So you're bolstering them back up. Now, also within this is Circle of Wildfire Druids. This is not really a spell that I think makes sense. It kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. They don't get it until 7th level, and it kind of goes with this Cauterizing Flame. It kind of doesn't. So there is some healing that comes along with that. Now, and then there is the Undying Warlock. So here they are, and it ends up it's a 4th level spell for them. And they can defy death. So starting at 6th level, you can give yourself vitality when you cheat it, or when someone else cheat it. You can regain hit points when you succeed, or when you once you use this feature, you can't use it. So it's only on you. It says you can regain. So when somebody pops up with Aura of Life, you can take advantage of this. So there is that. Now the Sorcerer, if you did take Sorcerer and you did take this Divine Magic Sorcerer, they don't get it on their list, but if you dipped into this, starting at 6th level, whenever an ally within feet rolls dice to determine a hit points, you can spend one sorcery point. Now that doesn't really have anything to do with this, but it can supplement that a bit. So, there are a lot of choices. This is a pretty good spell. I am only giving it a B because of obvious reasons of the limit of classes, and also because uh, it doesn't cause a big regain of hit points. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.